Greetings. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? So, I am Jazzy Gems, and welcome to Spiritual Situation. So, as you read in the caps that this is biblical story time, I would like to tell you about a biblical story. And I would like to show you images as I speak, and I would like to bring this home for you so you can learn a beautiful story about a beautiful people. Okay? As you come into the room or you watching the replay, please hit the like button and share the live and enjoy it. Okay. So, this is the Virgin Mary. Okay. The Virgin Mary is a healer. And being a healer, these are the people that were healers. These were people that were magical. These were people that could conjure spirits. These were people that could communicate to other realms of reality. These are a supernatural people. These are people that had connections with animals. These are people that we call the Magi Nation. Now, Magi means these are a magical people. These people have a magical language. These people, when they speak things into existence, things happen. Because these are a biblical people as well. Okay? And I want to tell you their story. So I'm starting off with Mari. Mari represents the soul and consciousness of the soul. Mari has 7 sons, and the 7 sons were crucified. So that meant the seven, the 7 rainbows, the 7 spectrums of light, the 7 suns. Um, with the 7 sons being beheaded, their wisdom was removed. Their diadems were removed. And this is what they call fallen angels. The people who fell from consciousness, fell from grace, fell from higher self. So when the consciousness was cut off at the head, because that's what happened to her, she was decapitated. You know, the conscious cut off at the head because they cut off the head of the church of these people, because these people were a biblical people, and their mother is the head of their church. So their mother is what we call the Holy Mother, the Holy Grail. She is the mother of all the living nations, right? I mean, because in the story they teach us that Mary had a son, and they teach us that Mary's son was crucified. Now, Mary's son represents consciousness, and that's what I just explained about her son being crucified, about her consciousness being cut off. So this is how the people went into a deep sleep. people went into a state of mental illness, a state of spiritual warfare, because these people fell from their original states, their original status, their original selves, their original being, their original connection to the head of the state, which is the church, which is coming back into consciousness. So when we talk about Marie, we're talking about Ma. We're talking about the soul. We're talking about the coming together. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, nope. I went the wrong way. Hold on. I'm so excited. I gotta calm down. Okay. So here, I'm sorry that you can't see the whole image, but you can see enough. So here is a image of the Ethiopian emperors. Now, when I say she the head, I want you to understand that when, okay, I'm gonna explain something. Let me just keep going. I'm gonna keep going. It'll all make sense when I bring it together. This is the Ethiopian Empire. So I've been studying that the Indian nations are empires. The Aztec nation is an empire. The Inca nation is an empire. The Mayan nation is an empire. I've been learning that we are these people because I've been studying different parts of history where I've been studying this. I've been studying the Cherokee, the Iroquois, the Hopi, the Adena, the Powhatan, just studying different parts of these Indian tribes that call themselves empires. And when they call themselves an empire, they have a emperor because emperors rule empires. Emperors have castles. So this is a Ethiopian castle that belonged to emperors, and this particular dynasty, the dynasty is the breakdown of that empire of who ruled, and normally it is a monarchy, so it is generational, where you can trace the ancestry back by learning about the monarchy itself because it gets passed down from this generation to that generation to this generation and so on and so forth. So, this particular castle right here belongs to the Solomonic dynasty. Now, we can trace the Solomonic dynasty back to King Solomon in the Bible. So King Solomon's father is King David, and King David's father, well, King David comes out of the house of Ruth. Ruth is a Moab, so we're talking about the Moabites, we're talking about the Moab tribe, we're talking about these are ancient biblical people that you could trace back to the Bible. And these nations come together and, have children, and that's what make them empires, right? So this is the Solomonic dynasty, okay? And with this Solomonic dynasty, these are real images here of the castle. The Solomonic dynasty is also in ancient Abyssinia. Abyssinia is what we know as Ethiopia. Now, Ethiopia was conquered, so the name had been changed. So, Ethiopia is a Greek word. The Greeks were conquered as well, okay? Um, the Hebrew word for it is Abyssinia. Abyssinia is also known as the where the cat people live at. Okay, so we talked about the ancient cat people. So let me tell you a story here. So this is that same castle. Now, this castle, the other picture said that that castle was located in Ethiopia, and they correct on that picture. Only thing is, this image here is in St. Augustine, Florida. So we are learning that the ancient land is here in America. Okay? So hopefully you've watched the other videos and caught up on the study that we are learning that this is the ancient land. So, assuming that you have watched the other videos that I do have up on this platform and you are caught up and you are aware that that Egypt is in America, you are aware of all the artifacts that we have found, and you are aware of the Totarian buildings, you're aware of the limestone and the different information that we have available in them other labs. Okay, so moving forward, this is the Ethiopian Empire. In this Ethiopian Empire, you will have Menelik the second. So Menelik the second, if you can see here, is with a lion. Menelik the second fought against the Italians in 1830. Now in 1830, the Italians attack the Ethiopians. And we won that war. We had won that war. And Menelik the second, which is here, he had a cousin. His cousin is a general. Um, Let me continue on about because they the Solomonic dynasty, so you could trace them back to King Solomon and King David, right? Um, Also, with this being ancient Abyssinia, these are some pictures of the structures. And if you look at the ancient structures, you see that they have the lions and cat statues all over the place. Um, they actually have the pillars here. The pillars, as in the Tartarian build, is how we've been learning about the architectural structure, and we've been learning how to assemble and put that together, right? Um, so we see here that he is with cheetahs. Um, I want to show you the Lion Bridge that is here. So with this being ancient Abyssinia, this being St. Augustine, Florida, am I supposed to say allegedly or for educational purposes only? Okay, wait a minute, hold on. What was I looking for here? The bridge. I don't have an image of the bridge. I didn't get it. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. So this is the Lion Bridge that is in St. Augustine, Florida. And if you notice the stone on the bridge, you would notice that's the same stone structure that was on the building that we saw Haile Selassie got in front of. So we are aware that when this war took place in 1930, because that's when World War II took place in 1930. And in 1930, that's when the Romans and the Ethiopians had friction. You could even go back and watch Harlem Nights. There are clues and gems in there with Bumpy Johnson. If you go back and watch The Godfather, clues in there. If you go back and study the 30s, what happened in the 30s, the birth certificates coming out, the social security cards coming out, the um, things had changed, structures had changed, history had been reconstructed. Yes, because we lost the war. We know we lost the war. We had become prisoners of war. We became exiled out of our own lands. We got exiled out of our own empires. Um, a lot of our empires, as you know, if you've been watching the different lives that we've been doing, how they've been building up on it, and you can no longer see the lions. You can no longer see the glyphs that are on the buildings. You can no longer see the different images that were. But when you start opening up your third eye with this knowledge and you start becoming aware and you start able to see these things, you'll start seeing these things that were hidden in plain sight. Okay, so um during so the war has always been about your mind, body, and soul. You have to think about in the Bible when Cain and Abel was in the garden. And let's analyze the garden first. This the Garden of Eden. We are aware that Florida means flower. We are aware that we are the plants that are in the garden. We are aware that we are the plants that can walk. We are the plants that are uprooted and can replant ourselves where we choose to plant our feet in the soil because we have a contract with the sun. So when we take our shoes off and stand on the soil, we really are plants. We really are getting downloads. We really are getting nourishments from the soil. We really are connecting with the universe. And this is how we used to roll. Um, and we made our own shoes with as technology because we are those ancient Aztecs, those ancient Mayans, those ancient Olmec. Hopefully you watch the other videos that I've done to get this information, right? Um, so this is okay, so when I was saying that Cain and Abel were in the Garden of Eden, and Cain got kicked out the garden. So Cain got kicked out of the higher state of man. Cain got kicked out of the presence of the sun. Cain got kicked out of the consciousness. He was no longer granted access to the garden. He was no longer granted access to paradise. He was no longer he was no longer granted access to being. So When that happened, he fell, right? So like that was one of the first fallen angels, right? Because he got kicked out the garden. The garden is heaven. The garden is paradise. He got kicked out of that. So if he got kicked out of paradise, where did he have to go? Into the dark places where the sun don't shine. He had to go into the lower regions of the earth. He had to go down into the crevices and creases and the he had to go into the places where the sun don't shine. Remember, like on Lion King, when he said the elephant cemetery over there, he said the sun don't shine over there. That's the place where things don't live at anymore. So he couldn't dwell with the living. And when he no longer was able to dwell with the living, that gave him the mark of Cain. So when he received that mark of Cain, so when he received that mark of Cain, that means he has a distinctive look. He has a mark. He has a it's information out about him. Why? Because he has that mark of Cain. Also, Cain unalived Abel. So we know that Cain is capable of unaliving. Cain also is a jealous, envious man, like the sins. Like watching sinners, you know what I mean? Like that corruption that's inside. Um, but because he got kicked out of the garden, he won't access back into the garden. So that is a energy or entity that wants access to live through you to experience going back into the garden, but not for the right reasons though. So this is why you must have knowledge of how what the mark of Cain is. The knowledge is what is going to put you in control of self. The knowledge is what's going to give you the power to master self. The knowledge is what's going to give you the power to know thyself and know that you are a God. When you able to operate from your God self, that's a game changer. Um, this is the Nile River that flows through St. Augustine, Florida. This is also called the Mississippi River. Um, got the Aztec Empire. And that's the river flowing through the river. There's Illinois up there, ain't it? Nah, for real. Ain't that Illinois up there? I mean, I could see the shapes now. I can't. I could see the shapes now. I'm going to show you a different map that's identical to this. Because they showing you this. But I'm going to show you something else. Hold on. Hopefully, I got it in this phone. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I don't got it in this phone. I may not do, but I don't have access to it. Um, oh, yes, I do. I just wanted to show you how the river runs from the bottom all the way to the top. That's what it say in the Bible, that the water runs from the bottom of the land to the top of the land, and the water divides up into four rivers. So them four rivers go north, south, east, and west, and you could clearly see it there. You can see it's going north and south, and then it's going east and west. So everybody in the land is getting this water, right? And then we also showed on the last slide the four corners of the earth. So you look at this and look how it divides up into the different parts. You're able to decipher that land no matter how they show it to you. You know, because even it says here that the Mississippi is divided up into two: lower Mississippi and upper Mississippi. Okay, wait a minute. I said we was talking about the four corners of the earth and how everything, the river meets up in those corners of the earth. That is an actual real temple that controls the four corners of the earth. We no longer have access to these water canal systems or the knowledge of how to use them, work on things like that, because we've been taken off the land. Apache is the Alabama tribe, the Muscogee people. These are different tribes as well too, and these are counties that are also located in Florida. As you can see, the Chakota, the Creek, the Muscogee. These are all tribes and nations that come together to form an empire. So an empire is full of tribes. The fact that we are empires, we called this the land of the pharaohs because this was the land of many, many, many different kings. And this is why we would have a king of kings, because we had many different kings, king of kings, Nubian empires, many of them. We had Ramses the Great. We had many different dynasties, many different Egyptian, Indian dynasties, culture. This is our religion, culture, our way of life, the way we eat, the way we sing our songs, the music we sing, the frequency we own, the knowledge we pass forth to the next generation, the knowledge we receive, the things we take in. All of this is very imperative to us as a people. Why? Because this is our culture, which is our way of life. So our culture has always been a way of life. It has not been an option. It was nothing that you could choose. It was nothing that you was converted into. It was nothing that was forced upon you. It just was a way of life. The way of life to be one with nature, to be one with the sun, to have a covenant with the sun. This is also an image from Florida. Florida has a lot of waterfalls. Florida has a lot of botanical gardens. Florida has a lot of um, healing energy. They have a lot of healing springs, hot springs, springs you could get in and heal yourself. The land itself is very healing. Um, I'm starting to really understand a lot about the land. I'm starting to understand a lot about the ancient Mississippi civilization. That is just another name that was used to classify us. You know, when we was classified as um, all these different names, we started losing our information. So that's the purpose of me creating this content so you could help remember who you are. You know, help us remember who we are. So I give gratitude to y'all for watching, and I will talk to y'all beautiful souls real soon. All right, peace.